One of our top priorities in humanities is our writing curriculum and writing practices for students. So we want to ensure that from 6th to 12th grade, all students are writing for a variety of purposes and a variety of audiences. Whether that's a critical essay that they're working on in class, receiving feedback, going through the writing process, or they're sort of wrangling with a text by using writing to make meaning. Or they're writing together, or they're using writing to step into a character or a historical figure's shoes. We want to make sure that they're getting lots of practice, lots of feedback, and also lots of joy. Our faculty and staff are working so hard to ensure that these writing opportunities are embedded in classes every day. We are always innovating with new writing and best practices around the teaching of writing, and we want to make sure that our faculty continues to receive the highest quality professional development so they can continue to grow their practice and their toolboxes as they work with kids. Part of our important work is ensuring that our curriculum is aligned to state standards. And part of that is also ensuring a common approach in the teaching of writing so that we can ensure as students move through the district and as they grow as writers, they're all getting a similar experience in building these essential skills. This approach has our students writing in a thoughtful and organized way that focuses on the basics of phonics, grammar, and comprehension in our earlier grades, leading to the ability to express complex thoughts, critical thinking, and analysis as they progress through our system. One of the programs we've adopted in grades 4 through 8 and expanded this year is Patterns of Power, and I am very excited to share it with you today. Grounded in conversation and discovery, the Patterns of Power grammar program invites students over several days or several lessons to look closely at well-crafted sentences in order to describe what they notice, compare and contrast, try the strategy in their notebooks, and then share their work with their classmates. Ultimately, students are asked to then apply that pattern or rule in new sentences and across their writing, while they explore how editing changes meaning or effect. Students not only learn an essential grammatical pattern, they get to apply it again and again across their reading and writing. Teachers have received professional development in this program starting last year, when program authors Whitney LaRocca and Travis Leach spent several days in our elementary and middle school.
What I like about it is that they have the opportunity to see really well-constructed sentences and then practice them in their own writing. What do you think about Patterns of Power? You know when we do like the pop stuff? You know, where we imitate the sentences?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think about that?
I think it's helpful to, it's almost like paraphrasing in social studies, because you get a better understanding of what it means and you can like relate it in your stories.
Okay.
So that helps like your writing.
Do you guys find that you're using some of the like imitation sentences?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah? Okay.
Definitely, yeah.
Do you have any that you could share?
Her words had broke my heart, my love, my trust.
In school, the playground would always be resonating with the noise of the overexcited children running around.
It feels less prescriptive than just saying, okay, here we're going to do a compound sentence and here's the conjunction and here's the comma. You know, I mean, that's part of it too, but to give them a sentence, an authentic sentence that's from a book that they might have read, makes it real.
It was probably about 10 years ago. Jeff Anderson came to our school and introduced us to what soon became his whole Patterns of Power project. He has several books about the teaching of grammar and mechanics in interesting, inquiring way for students to learn about how language works. You know, you have to understand the grammar and conventions to write well. But with our work in the English department, 6, 7, 8, having as much commonality from grade to grade to grade, it's so incredibly important.
The way that I've kind of adopted this is I bring it in at the start of the week. We walk through all the different parts, right? An opportunity for them to notice the structure of the mentor text for the day, whether they're looking at parts of speech, grammar, the mood or tone of it, which some of them start to dig into now that we're halfway through the school year. Then we move into them practicing, and it's been a great opportunity for them to authentically engage with one another, with their peers.
The students of phonics?
Like middle school.
Sure. I wrote Or we can say love gym, but they don't like swim.
And then it allows me to then kind of see how it does translate into their writing that we do for article of the week, or the writing that they do in class or with their essay writing. So bringing in these patterns, I've noticed that they do engage in conversations around how they see punctuation is specifically being used. And there have been nice opportunities where we've been able to call back to previous patterns. So like in today's work, during our editing conversation, it did end up being, there was a comma splice. So students did ask, oh, can I use a semicolon there? And it's really beautiful to see that they do call back to the things that we've done previously, which shows that they are internalizing and they are thinking about how authors use punctuation in this case. Subject has to be there. Right now when we think subject, this is our noun or pronoun sometimes. And what else? Our verb, right? Our action, what the subject is doing or what's being done, right? So this is our predicate. If we're thinking about taking two independent clauses and bringing them together, what are some of the ways we could do that? So think back to other patterns that we've talked about, use some other prior knowledge you have. What are other patterns that we went through with patterns of power?
Semicolon?
Yes, right, a semicolon is another thing that we talked about. Let's take a look at our mentor text today. It comes from Bone Gap by Laura Ruby. So let's take a look at what we are focused on today. The people of Bone Gap called Finn a lot of things, but none of them was his name. So at your table, chat about what you notice, punctuation, grammar, what you notice about the parts of speech. Take a minute and we'll come back.
Yeah, there's two independent clauses. There's separated by comma and a
What else
but.
do you see? Currently we are working with compound sentences, so how to use the coordinate conjunction to take two independent clauses and join them together. One of the things that I'm starting to notice even in our first day is that the students are seeing that there is some sort of a connection between the two pieces.
Like it was also like subject and verb, like maybe like the people of Bone Gap is subject and called is the verb.
Great, so if we look right here, right, the people of Bone Gap, people is our subject. Right, this is our noun here. And what did you say was our verb, our action? What are the people doing? Or what did they do? They called. Fantastic. So I see that I've already jotted down, based on what Molly shared, a subject and a verb. So what do I know is true already about what's up here? What do I know is true, Becca? It's an independent clause. Can someone clarify and tell me where this independent clause stops though? Because I've got lots of things going on. So where would this stop, Max? At the comma.
Two independent clauses connected by
Yes,
one.
right? At the end of the day, when we think about compound sentences, right? Compound, think about in science. If it's a compound thing, it's more than one thing put together. That's the same thing here. These two sentences have some sort of a relationship. So that is one of the nice things with compound sentences and doing it through patterns of power is they're starting to look at the author's craft. As we progress through the rest of the school year, that's what I'm hoping to see in their writing, that there is intention behind what they do, because that's the intention that authors have.
So when Jeff Anderson visited us many years ago, he showed us a lesson in how his inquiry work around teaching grammar and mechanics is done. His lesson was on how to use the colon, and the first thing that he did to start the lesson was an actual drum roll. He hooked the room of teachers, and so I thought, wow, we can hook our students by using this methodology.
Now that we are fully implementing patterns of power, Travis and Whitney are returning this month to get into classrooms and work with teachers and continue to demonstrate the patterns of power approach and to work with teachers as they learn this really powerful program. I just want to take a minute to thank and congratulate our very hardworking ELA teachers who embraced this program from the very beginning and worked hard starting last summer to learn it and get it right and work together so that students not only got a wonderful experience, but a joyful experience. And they continue to work together to build their skills and to really understand the program.